In this training or video series, I'm going to give you a radically different, yet surprisingly simple way to approach your autoimmune condition that will allow you to get rid of pain, have more energy, and gain control over your life and your health. And this is your chance to change the direction of your journey with autoimmunity and find a way to finally experience some real progress towards your ultimate health. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here with you. All right. So if you're currently feeling sick and tired, sometimes overwhelmed, or medicated the F out, I'm going to make this really clear for you right now. Welcome to our radical empowerment. I'm Dr. Connie. I am the founder of Lupus Rebel and Alkaline Method, the host of Mind Your Health and Functional Yoga Medicine podcast. I live and breathe autoimmunity and solutions for. I consider myself a health engineer, a yogi, a functional healer, and an autoimmune warrior. So I wear multiple hats, okay? And 22 years ago, I got diagnosed with lupus, and 10 years ago, I decided and turned my health problems into a radical empowerment that shifted everything in my life. I mean, everything. And today, I simply show my patients exactly how they can do the same with their autoimmunity, whether it's living with lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, Sjogren's, multiple sclerosis, Hashimoto's, or any other chronic illnesses. If you have an autoimmunity or any chronic illness, I'm about to give you the simple, easy to follow blueprint that will give you the clarity and confidence that you need to use your obstacles as a catalyst for radical empowerment once and for all. So I became obsessed with solving the puzzle of autoimmunity, but mostly I just wanted to feel better, you guys. And so I sought out all the training and realized that all were good, but only provided pieces of the puzzle. Putting it together in a way that makes sense for me was my job. And that was a lot of things to put together, you guys. So I created a way to put it all together to make it seamless and easy for you to live the solution. Because at the end of the day, whether it's yoga or changing your diet, applying functional medicine, going to physical therapy, Pilates, you have to really go to all those things and then consider how they fit in the context of your life, right? And we can go all these places, and not to mention the endocrinologist, the rheumatologist, right? And neurologist and what have you, that gets added onto this list. And if you're looking for holistic, it's the acupuncturist, the chiropractors. So it's your job to put it all together in the context of what it's going to work for you. While at the same time, you're doing all the things to help your body, but are you really helping your body? Well, we don't really ever know. We try desperately to hold on to anything and everything that might help us. So all the things like yoga, nutrition, functional medicine, physical therapy, and Pilates are how I got well. And now today, I'm able to help autoimmune patients become radically empowered to heal. And I created a certification program for practitioners to be able to do the same. So I'm super excited and stoked. As you can see, I'm part of the Yoga Alliance, and I do run a 500-hour school. I'm an experienced YASEP continuing education provider through the Yoga Alliance. I graduated with a degree in getting my master's in nutrition as an RD registered dietitian and a doctorate program in physical therapy. I'm a fully board certified Pilates instructor through the Institute of Pilates Association. And then, of course, the Institute of Functional Medicine for functional medicine certified practitioners. So I've had some trainings under my belt. And in this video, I'm going to give you the antidote to pain and fatigue. the alternative to really confusion and end to your frustration, so you can turn your autoimmunity into a powerful catalyst for true healing transformation. And I'm talking real. Holy cow, this is work in progress. And if that sounds great to you, well, you're going to love what I'm preparing. But first, I must warn you, because creating health from autoimmunity is unlike anything you've had to do before, okay? And I want you to really think about it. Not only are you dealing with symptoms of autoimmunity that can be destructive to your body, but it also impacts your career, your future, relationships, finances. It impacts your identity as you know it. Your life gets turned upside down. And if you are new to your diagnoses, you're likely confused as ever, right? While there are so many so-called solutions out there, those are often founded upon the false assumption that the root cause is something they define for you, right? So if you go to an acupuncturist, you somehow have to assume that there is meridian imbalances within your body. And if it's diet, they assume that diet is what caused the autoimmunity. And if it's an endocrinologist, they assume the hormones, on and on and on and on. So, for example, putting things in context, if there's plant-based diets, there's keto diets, autoimmune paleo, and even intermittent fasting, and they're all proven and medically validated to be effective. So each contrasting diets are a solution to our autoimmunity, and they are supposed to all work. So what's right for you? That's the question, right? And I find so many autoimmune patients are super confused about what diet to follow. They followed some diets with some success, but then at some point, it's sort of they hit a dead end and they don't get any progress after that, right? And although many autoimmune patients succumb to medications as well, it's the side effects of the medications that further complicate your wellness. And this can be tricky to navigate. So the odds are stacked against you. And this is what we have to deal with. So let's change all of that, in order to fulfill the vision you have for your future. We have to take a look back at the past, at the habits and ways of thinking from the public figures like Stevie Wonder, who is regarded as one of the greatest living artists today. His piano skills, along with his distinctive voice, have moved many of us, right? This man is capable of moving our emotions. This man is now a living legend and known across many generations. But remember, Stevie Wonder was born prematurely, which resulted in a condition called retinopathy of prematurity, leading to his retinas becoming detached. His eyes, right? Retinas from your eyes becoming detached. This causes blindness, complete blindness. And his blindness did not get in the way of him becoming not just an artist, but one of the greatest music icons of all time. This, my friends, is what I consider the radical empowerment at its best. And there's also Helen Keller, who was an American author and is well known for being depicted on stage and in many on-screen adaptations. Her books, which included her autobiography, have gained international acclaim. She remains a prominent literary figure more than 50 years after her passing. But remember, you guys, she acquired a disease as an infant, which led her to losing her senses of sight and hearing. Can you imagine your life without sight and hearing? And I mean, this is all of your communication abilities completely taken away. The loss of these two particular senses led her to have great difficulty with the language itself. And yet here she masters it. Because her hard work, her unwavering commitment, and the help of her teacher, mentor, Anne Sullivan, led her to be a successful author of all things. This too is an example of radical empowerment to use obstacles as a catalyst for powerful transformation that can have a ripple effect in the world. So this is proof that any obstacles in our lives, such as autoimmunity, can be a catalyst for powerful transformation. We can come together, you guys, and that's what I seek to do in this community and be the example of what's possible and really redefine what it is to live with true resilience and remarkable, really radical empowerment. That's what I want for you. And that's what I want to prove as a collective. Because the path to healing and thriving begins with radical empowerment as the foundation for success. And that's what I'm here to help you to do. Empower yourself so you can get back to living your life on your terms, free from pain, fatigue, and suffering. You are either an autoimmune warrior with an O or a autoimmune warrior with an A. The warrior is somebody who constantly thinks about the thing that hasn't happened and really dramatizes the worst case scenario and worry about it, like over and over. But on the other hand, the warrior with an A is somebody who is empowered to use whatever obstacle stands in their way as a catalyst for powerful transformation towards what they want to create. The warrior with an A rises above the day. Today struggles and chooses to focus on the things they want to improve. And more importantly, they take necessary action. They are grounded and strong in their convictions to get well no matter what. That's really the core of radical empowerment. So where do we begin? We must look to the present and really understand that we come from our past, our context, right? What we experience in the past, all our traumas and memories and the stories that we tell of ourselves is what we bring forth to the present. And we don't really spend time being here in the moment. In fact, when we project the negativity of what we experienced as a context and the frame for our future, we project it into the future, so much so that that's what we ultimately create. And on top of that, there are so many stories that will scare the pants off of you, okay? Because according to the medical community, autoimmunity, we're told constantly, is considered incurable and super scary. How many times has anybody come up to you and say, oh, you have lupus, I'm so sorry, honey, and give you the look of sympathy, empathy, all that's good, but they come back and they tell me how many people, what relative, sister, daughter died from lupus is what I heard many times over. And it was those moments where I had to really, really ground down and really think about what kind of a disease that I have. And it's really can't help but to be scared about, what does that mean? Because I feel fine now, but what does it mean that somebody can suffer so greatly? And that's the thing with autoimmunity. It's got so many variables that it's impossible for us to really recognize all the compounding variables. And compounding variables, nothing other than one variable affecting another to compound the matter, so much so that no matter how much I studied, and I've studied a lot, there is no way an expert or a doctor can know exactly what's wrong with you. That's why there is a Band-Aid approach, even in the holistic world, and they focus on the one thing or a piece of the puzzle, and that fragmented puzzle doesn't give you the whole answer to be able to solve for the puzzle, solve for the X, so that you're set up for success. I'm talking about today getting the foundation necessary in your life, just as we are about to embark on solving the puzzle of autoimmunity in our specific lives. And at the core, we're finding radical empowerment in each of our lives so that we can really solve for our own puzzles, because nobody can possibly know you like you know yourself. And yet we're conditioned to depend on these experts to tell us exactly what to do. And you and I both know they're all contradicting each other. That just goes to show how much they don't know. And even if you might feel well, it might be a short time before you feel better. I've gone both feeling good and completely in remission to, oh my gosh, what knocked the socks off me, and really super duper sick to where I was debilitated. And remember, you guys, most research and scientific data tends to look only at a piece of the puzzle to make a prognostic statement about autoimmunity. But I believe this can mislead many to believe in the false narrative of how dire, how negative this disease of autoimmunity can be. And when they don't know human minds, including the doctors and the experts, they go to a place to fear monger. And that's not a good place for us to be, especially with our conditions. You know, unfortunately, so many autoimmune patients seek holistic or conventional care, looking for someone else to save them, to pull them out of their misery and help them to actually feel better. And most don't really have a specific criteria to know when they achieved feeling better. You know, like they don't even know what that would look like or how they would feel. So one of my patients' goals before joining the program, the Autoimmune Health Transformation, was to be pain-free. And her goal was to be able to walk the whole Costco without getting tired. So to me, this was too small of a goal versus a goal that surpasses any expectations. That's what radical transformation is, or radical empowerment is. Breaking through the self-limiting barriers is part of the work we do through our autoimmune healing transformation. So you blow your minds. We're not talking about just incremental benefits of doing a little more, a little better, and a little differently every time for a little improvement and little tweaks. In order for us to win with autoimmunity, we have to flip it upside down and make radical changes, you guys. And despite wanting to feel better, most patients don't have a clear idea, I was like that too, of what that looks like. So what does healthy truly mean for you? Well, I decided to really define what healthy is, because healthy means different things to different people, right? So healthy as it stands should be harmonious, whatever you do. It should be easy. It should trigger awareness in your body, right? And it should facilitate and cultivate love. And it should bring out the true essence of you, because truth sets you free. And it should be healing, as well as the last Y should be focused all about you. Okay. So no matter, right? No matter what you believe, you're manifesting the exact thing, whether you like it or not. That's what you're manifesting through your beliefs. And that's why most successful health warriors are those who approach any given situation with the unwavering commitment to heal. And yet, despite wanting to heal the root cause, most are not willing to do all the things necessary to actually heal. It's one thing to know, you guys, but you guys have all experience. You know what to do. You know what healthy choices are, but yet you can't get yourself to do that. And this happens at the worst times, when you're feeling so weak, so tired, so debilitated, and there is absolutely no hope in front of you. That's when you feel like, why does it matter? When your mind starts to give up on you and starts to tack onto that limiting belief or limiting beliefs, then that's when you get into the spiral of suffering and you can't hardly get out. And so you really need a mentor to pull you out every time and really get to know the thought processes that you hold, because that's the blind side that we have no idea. So much trauma and unknowing experiences dictate our lives today. And that's what writes our narratives of how we live our lives. It's the interpretations that we've made already that's become secondhand beliefs, and it's become the fiber of our being, that's what we have to change, is why I called this program the Autoimmune Healing Transformation. Because when you experience healing from believing, that's when everything clicks back in place and everything starts to make sense. Because nothing else in the world changes, but when you change, everything changes. And that's truly inner power that I want you to experience. Now, if you know anything about autoimmunity, you probably think that healing is impossible, right? Autoimmune is complex and extremely hard to manage holistically. And with no mentor or a coach, remember Anne Sullivan was there for Helen Keller. There's mentors that these successful people seek. Stevie Wonder had mentors and coaches for his voice and singing because he didn't have anything. We can't do it alone. We can only do so much alone. We can move the world and make miracles together, okay? And when the healing path seems unsurmountable, and that's when you don't have a leader or a coach or a mentor to help you pull out of all the destructive thoughts that you hold on to. And if you don't already have a plan, should you even bother? That's the voice in your head, right? And on top of that, there's just no guarantee that it's going to work, right? Well, even though these claims are valuable, stick with me, please, because throughout this training, I'll show you how healing from autoimmunity does require radical empowerment, which will help you to avoid unnecessary frustration and stress that keeps most people stuck, no matter what autoimmune condition or severity. In fact, one of my patients recently was so shocked or stoked about her lab results. Nicole was able to get her labs within normal limits and is planning to buy a house with her boyfriend. So just 2 years ago, I'm telling you, Nicole was struggling with complications from autoimmunity, cellulitis, so much pain, weakness, and disability. She didn't know what to do as her foot was getting increasingly swollen to a point she couldn't walk. The doctors didn't listen, and she never felt heard. She felt the doctors completely dismissed her concerns, and as a result suffered PTSD from this episode. And now she's skeptical as ever when the doctors speak to them. And really, Nicole simply followed the plan and was able to discover so many things underneath her autoimmunity, such as trauma as a child, abandonment, neglect, and self-worth were all the things that she was struggling with. She was able to improve from a very messy, inflammatory condition proved by her labs here on the left to completely being normal with the labs on the right, okay? But no amount of doctor, right, was able to solve for the piece of the puzzle. Remember I told you the framework that you need? When you try to solve for the puzzle, and it's a very big puzzle, very complicated, you know what the secret is? You anchor the corner pieces, the 4 corner pieces, and know what they are. And second, you have to know what the whole picture looks like to put the pieces of the puzzle together. Without that as a guide, like on the box, the full picture, it's difficult to put the puzzle back together. But yet in the medical community, that's how we do, that's how doctors approach this. With only a piece of the puzzle, they think that they have the solution. If only you change the diet, if only we check the hormones, if only we check the food sensitivities, what have you, right? No doctor put the pieces of the messy puzzle together for Nicole and made her feel like a human being. And that was the problem. You see, before you were diagnosed with whatever autoimmune condition that you have, you are a human being, just like I was, having this experience here in this human life, here and now. Whatever the experience, good or bad, may have helped to worsen or improve autoimmunity. This is something I need you to consider. Something that you dismissed as something that happened in your life could have caused so much inflammation. I know that months and years before getting diagnosed, I just kind of dismissed the fatigue that I felt every single day, always getting tired, some rashes that would come and go, to just being part of the human experience. I didn't know that that was the warning signs. I never checked to see what was driving my unhappiness. In fact, I didn't even know I was unhappy. I didn't even know that I had all the repressive feelings over the lifestyle cycle. I didn't even know I had trauma. But I want you to look at this slide and refer to the 4 corners, right? To the left top, there's the inner awakening process where you have to kind of grasp the foundation of who you are going across the top, with align yourself with yourself and know truly who you are, and really understand what your core values are so that you know exactly what you're living for. And then there's the outer manifestation, which is the right corner piece, right? And you go down the right side, which is understanding that in life, there's polarity. Sometimes you'll have difficult times in life. There's the negative to the good. Sometimes you'll be sad, but then sometimes you'll be glad and happy, so forth. Yin to the yang, acid to alkaline, right? We just keep flowing through because life is dichotomous. It's not just one-sided. And through that dichotomy, you find breath, the second one down. Breath is that allows you to have mind, body mastery and connection. And we do that through the practice of yoga. And really finding breath, sitting in meditation allows you to slow down and tune inward to respond with intelligence and wisdom versus reactive to the life circumstances, right? And then there's the balance. Balance is defined by self-love, self-regard, and self-respect. Setting healthy boundaries around in your life. These are all the skill sets and things that you have to uncover for your life so that all inflammatory things, habits are completely destroyed to reprogram you into a better version of you. The right corner now is the modern medicine piece. And really, there is where I put together the gut dysfunctions, the brain, and then the immune system together in a cohesive way. So you become your own doctor, because there is no other doctor that is receptive to your body more than you are, because you're the one who live with the receptors every single day to feel the pain, to feel the energy or depletion of the energy, or feel the sadness or the whatever the consequences are from being so sick. Lastly, left lower corner is the ancient wisdom piece. And ancient wisdom is miraculous tendencies. And we really believe that our bodies have an inherent ability to heal. And through that exploration, we dive deep into the yogic practice. Yoga, as defined, it's none like any religious practice. Yoga in our context is considered your opportunity for growth and awareness. And through that, you come to know exactly who you are, and you reprogram yourself to be the best version through the catalytic movement that autoimmune has initiated for you. And we take a look into your energy in the body to feel what we feel and hang on to our intuitive sense and use that as a guidance for your sort of compass for your life, as well as to really use meditation and hypnosis to get to the mind so that you can ultimately have mind-body mastery. And that pretty much sums up the framework of our methodology. And then we start to solve for what's in the middle, the DNA of you with all its variables and compounding variables, and every piece starts to make sense so that you start to put things back together. You see, once you're diagnosed with autoimmunity, right? Rather than looking to the experts and doctors, like I told you, only to be dismissed and, looks at you as the disease itself, not as a person, You must look within yourself to know exactly what your healing path looks like. And this really does mean a goal that you want. You get to dictate what life you want to live going forward. You now get to redefine what health looks like for you, understanding that doctors with a lab coat and a stethoscope, they'll only tell you it's incurable simply. And it's really up to us to decide whether we buy into their dogmatic ways or we define what that looks like for us and we get to work. And that's what this program and what this training is all about. I want to tell you, I see so many patients wanting to feel better and try different variations of multiple different things, whether it be a diet, taking supplements, etc. But according to the recommendations from experts and doctors, friends, or even influencers online, they're looking outside of themselves to dictate what's going to go in, right? And that, my friends, is why we are all still seeking out. But the number of autoimmune patients are increasing every day. That means it's not working. So in the next video, I'll guide you through my 3-phase daily plan to feel better fast when autoimmune flare strikes. So the next flare will feel like a walk in the park. So whether you're dealing with a minor skin irritation to a full-blown pain cycle, you can now follow these 3 steps in order to shift your autoimmune episode into a catalyst for optimal energy. Plus, I'll break down each of these 3 steps with a real-life case study of an autoimmune warrior that I treated who freed herself from the limitations of her autoimmunity. So you see exactly how a great lifestyle plan gets executed and set up for success. It becomes so easy when things fall in place. So what do you do next? Well, in a moment, I'm going to introduce you to the 3 phases of autoimmune detox so you can easily focus on the most high impact activities for your health and accurately set your next move. And at the end of this video, you'll get access to my free autoimmune assessment quiz to see what type of autoimmune patient you are, to see if radical empowerment is really the right fit for you. Plus, it will identify which role you play in your life. Now, as the creator of a high-level autoimmune healing transformation, I have the distinct privilege of supporting top-performing autoimmune warriors who are committed, truly committed to regaining their life back from autoimmune. And it's not a walk in the park, you guys. You have to be in it for the long haul. Because if you think just trying a little bit here, trying a little bit more here, trying a little bit different here and there is going to get you to success, think again. I'm 22 years into this path, and it's not an easy one, is why you need the right community. And there are abundant communities that are still in the name of health, talking about woe is me. And it's almost a victim mentality perpetuating that. And you know what? Here's the secret. They do so unknowingly. And it's sort of like they're stuck in this pattern, but they're trying. Well, I help you to see that trying is a failure word. You're already operating from a broken place. So that'll never work. And that's why we keep circling the same path over and over again. So I know firsthand, because I've lived with autoimmunity, how even the most strong and resilient autoimmune warriors can still get stuck in the negative self-talk cycle, which keeps them from moving forward. It's like, I know the mind chatter that exists for every single one of you. I've seen it. I've experienced it, and I know it. So this is why I created this program above and beyond just a dietary handbook or a guidebook, because it's not about that. It's essential that you break that pattern, because what got you here won't get you to that place that you want. And if you keep repeating the same thing based on your past, you're going to keep getting what you were getting. And in 5 years from now, my friends, that doesn't look very good. Okay. Teaching my VIP members in my program how to step into that warrior mode in their life allowed them to follow a proven plan with more clarity and focus, creating major breakthroughs. Like Ginger, who's now free from pain and fear of all kinds of foods. When I met her, she was super, super scared of all kinds of foods. And she knew she had autoimmune eczemas and other things going on. We were able to uncover all sorts of things to find peace. And she has a better outlook on her future, what she's capable of. And she's able to excel and get promotions in her job and have clarity for her life. Okay, so I want you to understand that there are options, there are better options for all of us. Okay, so please, please, please don't lose hope and hang in there. Another patient of mine, Sandra, who came to me with Hashimoto's for many, many years, and she sought me out, and through our work together, because she was thinking some supplements might help, she wanted to lose some weight here and there, but at the root cause of her perpetuating factor was her self-worth. There's some traumatic things that happened when she was a little girl. We were able to uncover that. She was holding on to that story so much that was affecting her current marriage. And she had a massive breakthrough, like really transformed herself, that allowed her to finally let go and cultivate self-love so that she can live in complete confidence in being herself again. And for her, that was like a new path that created, and she started to feel better. And all of a sudden, Hashimoto's, it just became a non-issue for her. That's how powerful this work can be, you guys. And it can be so easy, yet sometimes we make it harder than it needs to be. And I'm telling you, I'm truly honored and humbled that these autoimmune warriors chose me to teach them and guide them to see how to integrate a proven process, like a clear map and a strategy into their life for their own health. But honestly, to be honest, I didn't always have this figured out, and it wasn't so easy. Have you ever heard of the phrase, you end up teaching what you needed to learn the most? Is why I love the work that I do. Well, that was me. I was a typical autoimmune warrior with an O who sought out all the information out there to help me heal my lupus. I was always interested in how to eat as the first line of defense, simply because I was a dietitian. I have a master's degree in it, and that's what I have formal training in. But after being diagnosed with lupus, with what I believe to be the healthiest diet for me, and having been on that diet for a long time, it was like a slap in the face when, of all people that I knew, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition. I felt like all my friends and colleagues were laughing at me. I was known to be the health nut all around through college, through my graduate school, my doctoral studies. I was so disciplined. Yet here I was so sick with all the symptoms of autoimmunity that really caused me to deform. Like I lost my hair. It started to appear as rashes. I lost so much weight. I was in so much pain, and fatigue made me feel anything but healthy. I can remember the exact moment when everything shifted for me though. As a mom of two, struggling at the time with a business and family, I was juggling many roles despite my autoimmunity. I was constantly tired, and I wore hustle and busyness like a badge of honor, which provided what I needed. You know what that was? It was simply to be worthy, you guys. I had a voice in my head constantly telling me to do more, do better, and to do a little different every time, and never stop, because then everyone will find out who you are. And that's completely unworthy, unlovable. And I didn't even know that that was the narrative that I was running by. Then on a sunny spring day, I was playing with my kids one day with my mom at the park, when my mom made a judgmental comment about my son. And for whatever reason, you guys, it triggered something so deep within. It made me so angry. You know, when you have those moments where you just get so angry and so reactive and you don't even know, and you feel like you're crazy, but you can't help it. I just remember that it stung really bad because of the trauma when I was a little girl. And this was a pattern that I saw with my family members, right? They would trigger me and I would get mad. And I would avoid feeling bad as a child. I used to tell myself that I'm not good enough, so I must work twice as hard as anybody to catch up. And I really, really was able to do the work. And I found no wonder. You see, my parents had to leave me and my siblings in Korea when I was just 7 years old to get settled in the United States until the paperwork was ready for us to come to the States. So we were left in Korea with our maternal grandmother, who was an angry alcoholic. Get this too. My grandfather had a concubine. I know, right? In that era. And with that concubine down the road, had 2 sons, my uncles, right? Not blood related, but they were my uncles. So my maternal grandmother was always, always drunk and unhappy because she had 5 daughters. And in my culture, I guess that's like a no-no. And my mom was the 3rd daughter of the 5. So you can imagine what kind of unworthy programming she had, right? So we had a lot of heartful moments, and there was a lot of projections made to us from my mom. And she unknowingly did this. Like, she never intends anything bad, but she's unknowingly doing this. I don't really remember a lot, but when we really finally reunited with our parents, we were in a new country, having to learn a new culture and language. And I just remember feeling even more unworthy. At just 10 years old, kids made fun of my accent and my inability to speak the language. This is why I felt I was 10 years behind anyone, so I must work twice as hard just to catch up. But that day, when I realized that my self-worth was what was causing me to live a life that was so exhausting, I decided, you know what? I don't want to live that way anymore. I simply don't. This is the day where I hung up the warrior with the O hat and became a true warrior with an A. Okay. So I started to dive deep into discovering my hidden limiting beliefs that were causing me to self-sabotage and verbally abuse myself. I began to attract the relationship in that way. I began to work on myself, allowing the negative feelings to come up and find the root cause of the thinking and the beliefs that were underlying, and began to write them down, because otherwise it was super hard to see on my own, for sure, because that's the blind spots. So I had to sit with negative feelings and thoughts that were triggered. And these feelings, while they hurt, over time, I was able to get to the source of the problem. What was motivating me was that I was raising 2 boys, and it was important to me that the negative patterns end with me. I didn't want to hurt my boys or project my ways towards their lives at all. And especially in ways I've been hurt by my mom as well. And more importantly, I also didn't want to negatively affect my boys with my then poor marriage with my then ex-husband. It was a terrible relationship, and it was very hurtful, and it started to show. And that period was probably the hardest for me, as I had to get rid of relationships that were no longer serving me anymore and redefine the boundaries with those who were close to me. And it was hard on everybody. But today I'm so thankful I did that. Because you see, constantly being busy, pleasing everybody else, not knowing who I was, keeping me spinning faster and faster on a hamstring wheel was going nowhere, honestly. And repeating the same cycle and patterns over and over was not productive. So I decided to change it. I had to for my life. This took lots of painful awakening process. Like I said, that first little corner of my puzzle. And to relearn and reprogram all the new ways with a clear focus and goal for myself was the hardest part. But in retrospect, it's the thing that we all forget, isn't it? When I began this healing journey, I didn't know where it would take me or how far it would go. but I'm glad I mustered up enough courage to do the work anyway, as it was the best thing for me and my family. Empowerment is what I needed to cultivate courage enough to finally show up for me, to stop all the negative self-talk and self-loathing, to enable me to finally help myself heal. Healing isn't just about doing all the things you know. It's really an inside job where the shift is an inner one, okay? And I just want you guys to always know that this kind of help and insight, sometimes we need others and coaches and mentors to show us exactly what that looks like, okay? Because my curiosity in my pain led me to where I am today. I've had the worst flare to date just last year, probably 4 months ago, when it failed my kidneys, you guys, out of nowhere. I was in remission for over a decade. I was doing all the work through my online presence. I was running a successful business. Yes, COVID hit, but soon after I got the COVID vaccine, things started to go south really fast. I don't know what happened. I really don't. I was practicing functional medicine, doing all the things, so disciplined to the T. It's what's worked for the last decade. And all of a sudden it didn't work anymore. I wasn't stressed. I wasn't doing anything different. The only thing I can say was, for me, the triggering moment was the vaccine. So, and that's just off the record. And I know like that's really theoretical, right? I can't prove that. But either way, the challenge was real. But I was able to show up as my best self and finally die to my old self to become my new self. Today, I no longer fear autoimmunity. You guys, honestly, it was so bad. Like, look at my face on the right. It's so much prednisone. And to the left, it was December 4th of just last year, going into the hospital because my nephrologist called me to say, no, Connie, you got to go inside. We need to do a kidney biopsy. Something is very terribly wrong. I ended up staying in the hospital for almost 2.5 weeks. I was injected full of corticosteroids. The kidney biopsy had some trauma. It created hematoma. I was bleeding on the inside, affecting my kidney function even more. So I had to get over all that. And even today, I'm just getting out of it, but I feel so much better. But for a while there, I couldn't even do anything like yoga, which is part of my program, right? And this is me on the left. You see how swollen my legs are, that pitting edema, and then all the edema in my legs with the rashes. I just felt so sick, you guys. So I just want you guys to know, and I share my woes with you and my health history with you to show you that I know what it's like, but I also know that I can heal myself in ways nobody else can, because I've experienced many doctors and practitioners over my career, and as well as a patient. But within this time from December to now, I mean, I know the cost of sick care. I know how messy things can be. I know how toxic the environment is. It's not conducive to healing at all, you guys. It's really perpetuates sickness. And we have a high achieving autoimmune warriors in my program who have decided to say no more to pain, limitations, and suffering, myself included. And they are taking their power back, and they are showing me how it's done, which then allows them to have a ripple effect in their lives, into their relationships, redefining healthy, and their relationship with themselves, with money and their health. Everything is commingled and related, you guys. So they face life with a newfound hope and courage, ready for just about any obstacle that comes their way, and realize that it's just a part of being a human being, the polarity part, right? And in the next video, I show you how to put your empowerment into action in your life so that you can accomplish just about anything you want in your life. And as you can imagine, the possibilities for your life are endless as you break down every barrier into opportunities. I no longer saw myself as an anxious, overthinking mom, but a CEO of my life and my health. Then I was able to attract the right people in my life and set healthy boundaries to have nothing but positive experience in my life. Okay. I just want you to really, really understand the importance of radical empowerment. Because when I think about it, it was all about the shift from woe is me mode into a I can do anything mode. I now met the man of my dreams. We have the most amazing, healthy relationship. We have the most amazing people around. And no longer am I bound by my need to prove myself self-worth or please other people. I live my life on my terms today. And while the strategy and the focus of giving you a simple solution like the diet and supplements are part of it, we make sure to address the deeper need of what you're going through. And what you can expect is what I know. This is what I show my autoimmune patients how to be, do, have to get exactly what they want in life. When you begin to shed the old identity, you gain focus, clarity, and confidence that surges out of the core of your being. You begin to live life on your terms because you guys, life is so short. And today I can totally say I have freedom from autoimmunity. Sure, I may have symptoms that come and go, but I'm able to assess my health and do exactly what I need to do and be so that I can direct my own healing process. And really, at the end of the day, as Goliath and David demonstrates here, where David comes, look how much smaller he is, but he conquers and he defeats Goliath. And that's what we need to be able to do. Don't feel so small and don't be succumbing to the giant destructive agent, our autoimmunity. Because autoimmunity shifts your focus on what's truly important. It's an opportunity. We can see it as a blessing or a curse. It's up to you. But I can tell you it's a powerful catalyst if you let it, that gives you an opportunity to level up and begin to take care of your health in ways you've never done before, but you'll need a successful coach that can do so. Without health, you guys, nothing matters. I was in the hospital bed not too long ago, not able to do anything, not your kids, spouse, money, career, nothing matters, right? And many autoimmune patients get hung up on the price of health, but the cost of sickness is even higher. The time lost being sick in bed, quality of time with loved ones, sick days, medication cost, doctor visit costs, the list is endless. Being sick costs so much more. You guys, this is my bill from the hospital. You can see my name. And the bill is over $115,000. You guys, it's crazy, right? And I'm not dependent on any meds, supplements today, or diets or experts. In fact, I can lean into my body and mind and figure out exactly what my body needs to heal. I talk to my physicians, my doctors, and experts on my terms, and I tell them exactly what I'm doing, exactly what to expect, as well as I question them and their clinical decisions, and I want them to back up my decisions. And I really exercise my own power. I had to do this in the hospital where I was being injected with unforeseeable, like unnecessary inflammatory medications I've had to say no to. And these are some of the things that you have access to that we don't know out of simply trusting blindly the experts, right? And really, the ability to figure out exactly what my body needs to heal, that, my friends, are priceless to know that you're in control. And I want you to know you too can achieve the same freedom. I promise. So where do you begin? Well, first, we need to know which of the two identities you are. Once you're done watching this video, click the button on this page to take autoimmune assessment quiz. Once you answer the questions, which will take less than 3 minutes, you will see just how much empowerment is affecting your trajectory with autoimmunity. Now that we know you need radical empowerment, let's take a look at where you need them the most. We can dive into our healing path into just 3, or we can divide the healing path into just 3 simple phases. First phase is prep phase. Second phase is detox. Third phase is reprogram phase. We'll focus on our efforts leading up to the detox so you can build momentum and control so you can decrease inflammation. This is critical to decrease inflammation, okay? Because your health can hinge on getting this right. And the second phase is the detox phase. This is the time where you get rid of all the things that may cause inflammation to trigger your autoimmunity. Remember, anything that's triggering your autoimmunity can be coming in the way of relationships that are toxic, the thoughts that you're looping and thinking all the time, and all the memories that you're choosing to hold on to, and your identity. Those are all toxic things that you need to detox out of your system. Because remember, too, that inflammation is what drives all diseases in the body, and all the feelings, all the thoughts, and all the negativity that you experience affect your body physiologically to cause inflammation. It's what fuels the autoimmunity as well. So remember that they go hand in hand together. It doesn't matter if you've tried just every program that's available out there. In video number 3, I'll show you how you can supercharge your efforts so that everything you do is amplified to deliver results fast. Because I'm all about results, girl. Don't give me the BS. I'm a straight shooter, right? I just want to see and make it make logical sense. Then finally, in the reprogram phase, is where the magic happens. This is where the patients ask, what do I do now? You'll have a clear strategy for decreasing inflammation, no confusion, and improve your detox process in the body so you make physiological changes at the cellular level so that your body is revved up to be working at optimal metabolic rate. It'll improve the whole darn process, the prep, detox, and reprogram. 3 simple phases to decreasing inflammation, proven approach to feeling better with autoimmunity fast. So being sick and helpless helped me to realize just how important it is for me to be in charge of my own health and my life. And unless I decide to invest in my own health and wellness, I will forever be dependent on a failing system that will likely keep me debilitated for sure. And that's not what I want for you. And that's what I want to end here and now. You guys, we really do have a choice to live life on our terms with complete independence. I've seen too many patients in my rehab career as a physical therapist, what it's like to be dependent on others to take care of themselves. It's really a dead end you don't want to go down, okay? Because being dependent is just not fun, okay? And in the upcoming video, I'm going to walk you through these 3 phases and help you to fill in the action items that you need in each of these 3 phases so you can finally see the big picture, how all the pieces of the puzzle connect together, and you can finally build a life full of freedom, joy, and health. Okay, so I want you to open the autoimmune assessment quiz that I've been mentioning with the link below. I promise it won't take but about 3 minutes. You'll discover exactly where you hold your attention and how you can integrate all the bits of the confusing pieces of the puzzle together so you finally have a clear plan. When you have clarity and focus, you guys, everything in your life falls into place and you become fully self